Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Amy Anna and this is the third episode of Traveling to China. In this episode, we're going to go over 5 top tips on how to stay gluten-free in China. I've been gluten-free for over 4 years now after being diagnosed as celiac. However, I have never let this stop me from traveling. Nevertheless, gluten-free is almost non-existent in China. Compared to the UK, where almost 1 in 100 people are allergic to gluten, being gluten-free is much less common in the Asian community. That said, over 75% of the Asian community are lactose intolerant. You literally can't find cheese anywhere. Anyhow, in this video, I'm going to be going over my 5 top tips on how to stay gluten-free in China. Before we get going, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. 我们走吧! Is your Chinese getting better? 我们走吧 means let's go, right? You remember? Okay, fine. Number 1, guys. You need to download and print off a Chinese gluten-free restaurant card. I've included the link in the description below. These cards are useful for anywhere you travel to. They're totally free on this website, although you can give a donation if you want to donate towards the company that made them. It's a lovely little card that basically lists what you're allergic to, how you need to be careful when cooking your food, regarding contamination, etc. However, as I said, being gluten-free and gluten-free as such is not really a word in China. Like, there's not really an actual word for gluten-free. Therefore, even though when you have the card, they might not understand fully. And one thing they might not realize contains wheat is soya sauce. Soya sauce is going to be your hardest thing in China because in literally every dish, most dishes have soya sauce. It's like in England we have ketchup with everything. So when you're there, even though you have the card, I would also recommend explaining that you are allergic to soya sauce. Learn how to explain this in Chinese. 我对酱油过敏. I'm allergic to soya sauce. Jiàngyóu is soya sauce. Obviously, when you're in China, you won't always want to eat out at a restaurant as such. But in my previous video, I did mention about the dangers of street food. Where can you go if you just want a snack or something? Well, in China, they have lots of supermarkets, but also these kind of small supermarkets that I would have compared to maybe a Tesco Express or a Spar. These are called 7-Eleven and Family Mart. They're like everywhere. They're dotted everywhere around the East Block. I literally survived off food from these when I was at uni in China. So basically they sell like little meals and they heat it up in the microwave for you. It's so cute. Most of the things you can get, like, you can see if they're gluten-free or not. However, all the ingredients will be in Chinese. So what I would recommend is getting a translator app that you can scan the image and then it will translate for you. One of those, it works. Number 3, what traditional Chinese dishes are actually gluten-free? Now, a lot of Chinese food would be gluten-free if it didn't contain soy sauce. So technically you can ask for quite a variety of dishes and ask for them not to put soy sauce. Obviously there are more risks with contamination because they're likely to be made in a restaurant where there's obviously gluten, wheat, soy sauce going on, cooked in the same pans and everything. In China they are very bad with contamination as well. So what I recommend to you if you want to stay safe, if you are a serious celiac like I am, not just gluten intolerant, is sticking to restaurants where they mainly just cook gluten-free stuff. I'm talking like rice noodles and rice-based restaurants. In China as well, there's obviously a lot of seafood and strange foods. Seafood is great for gluten-free, and actually Japanese restaurants in China are really good. However, it's important to note here that soya sauce is used in China not only because of its taste, but because of its antibacterial properties. They eat a lot of strange foods, but they always put soy sauce with it. That is because soya sauce does have antibacterial properties towards bacteria, particularly coliform bacteria. So that's why you have to be careful, because you're not having the soy sauce because you're gluten-free. However, you can order instead wasabi. Wasabi also has similar antibacterial properties, and also jiàngyóu. Now, jiàngyóu is traditional Chinese liqueur, and that will help your stomach as well. Number 4, if you're like me, you might have a sweet tooth. Oh, I love sweets. Dessert in Chinese is tiandian, and Chinese desserts are very different compared to Western desserts. Believe me, completely different. Forget cakes and pastries. The majority of Chinese desserts are actually more like jelly, and surprisingly quite a few of them of the traditional Chinese desserts are gluten-free. That is because they use glutinous rice flour. Now this has a completely ironic name because it contains no gluten at all. Glutinous rice flour is just a type of flour and contains no gluten, and they make a lot of their sticky jelly puddings from it in China. So actually the majority of their sticky rice balls, sticky rice puddings, you can eat. Sticky rice cakes can come in all sorts of forms and colours. They normally look like little white squishy balls, and they might have like a filling. The great thing about Chinese desserts are they're all like made of natural plant products. Quite a popular one is red bean paste. So within the sticky rice balls, we'll have the paste. It's an acquired taste, you might not like it, but yeah, it's all gluten-free. Other things you might see on the street at little stores is kind of jars of yogurt. This is actually called nǎichá, and this is completely gluten-free as well. Again, it's made mainly of glutinous rice flour. The number one thing I love that's sweet in China is Zhēnzhū nǎichá, which is bubble tea. Bubble tea is amazing. You can get it elsewhere in the world, but I guarantee in China it will taste completely different. You can have it in a milky way or in like a fruity way with no milk, but you can also have different toppings, so like the bubbles at the bottom, or you can have jelly. Quite popular is grass jelly. So yeah, there's quite a lot of sweet stuff you can have in China that is gluten-free. Lastly, number 5, if in doubt, always, and this applies to wherever you travel, bring some non-perishable gluten-free foods. Just in case you're at the airport, you get stuck at a station or something, so you have something to eat, guys. Just take your own food with you. I always take some gluten-free cereal, nuts, just stuff that I can snack on if I can't be bothered to find something gluten-free, basically. Also, if you're in China, you could bring your own gluten-free soy sauce. So there are my 5 top tips on how to stay gluten-free in China. I hope you have found this useful, and if you do have any questions, just comment below, guys. I will reply, promise. If you haven't already checked out the other videos I've made on traveling to China, make sure you do. I've got one more video coming on the top landmarks in China. And of course, you can join me over on Instagram and TikTok, where I post daily about my current life quarantined in the Bahamas. I hope to see you soon, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.